Hey guys, I'm Antanya, your master teacher for social sciences at Vedanta, hoping all of you are doing absolutely amazing. Welcome to the first session and only session of constitutional design. Let's quickly get started, guys, by discussing the answer to the previous session's question. So the answer to the previous session question was D, Andhra Pradesh, and people who have answered the fastest are Anandi Mehta, Ladu Sahu, and Ishu Dagar. Congrats, you guys. I'm so proud of you guys. All of you who do not have your names over here or have never had their names over here, let me quickly give you a tip. Remember that always give your answers in the comment section, not just in the live chat, and you can also make it to the leaderboard, and I would love to have new people every time on the leaderboard. Okay, so let's see what are we going to do today. Guys, the good news is in this one session we're going to complete the entire chapter. And why is this going to be possible? It is possible because the revised syllabus has removed the Constitution of South Africa from our syllabus of this chapter. Okay, so that is what we are not going to do. The rest of the things, as you can see, the index is what we're going to cover. So let's quickly get started. Now, what is Constitution? Why do we need Constitution? What is it? Is what we're going to begin the chapter with. So if you're going to understand how the design or what the design of the Constitution is, we first need to understand why is it even required in the first place, and what is Constitution. So guys, Constitution in simple words is basically a set of rules that helps you run anything, okay, that helps you run a government by stating what should be done, what should not be done, and it has to be accepted by all the citizens. But why is this required? So whenever you're trying to run a government, whenever you're trying to run any institution, okay, which is very diverse in nature. See, if it is diverse in nature, everyone will come there with their own interests, their own opinions, their own aspirations. As a result of this, it is very natural for conflicts, for conflicts of interest, conflicts of aspiration, of opinion to happen. So in order to deal with such situations and in order to avoid such conflicts, or leading to further situations where it can lead to some adverse situation, in order to avoid that, we need a set of rules that has to be laid down to run any organization, to run any institution, to run any government. And that is the role that the Constitution plays, okay? Especially in a country like India, which has had a history of colonization, which has had a history of oppression, exploitation. People lack the trust, right? People lack the trust. People are afraid. People are not very sure of what is going to happen with them. The ruler who is going to come in the form of government that maybe they have elected, they're not sure that they are not going to turn out to be a tyrant or a dictator. So in order to make sure that where this trust is missing, okay, and the government is still required to run, we need to have some laws, we need to have some policies, we need to have certain rules in place. And that is what the Constitution helps us to do, and that is why it becomes the supreme law of the land. It is above everyone else that is there in the land. No matter which government, which position, which office you hold, the law which is going to rule over you is going to be that of the Constitution, making it supreme in nature. And these are the core rules that have to be followed in order to run every or any government, right? And these rules basically, as I told you, form the Constitution, and it has to be accepted by all. Until unless everyone who is being ruled or governed by these rules is accepting it, the nature, the essence of it is not being fulfilled. And that is why, as I told you, it is supreme of everybody. And it also determines what kind of a relationship will the people in living in that territory, or the people in that institution, or the people in that organization will have among themselves and will have with their leaders. In the case of country, it becomes with the government. So the Constitution also helps us in determining that. But what are the other roles that is played by Constitution? But as I told you, when there is a history of colonization, oppression, exploitation, people lack that trust, right? People are not very sure of how to operate with each other. So in order to ensure that, we need the Constitution. So that is the very first role that it plays. Second, it also clearly specifies what are the powers of government. Okay, what can it do, what it is constituted of, and it also lays down certain limitations on it. Now, why do we need these limitations, and why do we need a clear drafting of what all can government do? Government should know what is their role, right? But the R and R, the role and responsibilities of government, is clearly defined in Constitution, because See, we select our representatives. Those representatives come and hold the office and different positions in the government. They form it. Ultimately, they are human beings. They can have they can be selfish. They can have selfish agenda, and they may turn into someone who can exploit the office, exploit their power, and hence we need proper limitations on their power, which does not give them a window to misuse them, to take an extra advantages of these powers or and to exploit them. And that is why it becomes very important for us to have specific rules of what the government should be like, what it should be constituted of, and how much its power should be like, right? At the same time, it also gives certain rights to the citizens. See, we are citizens of the country, but we are not governing the country directly. We're choosing our representatives. These representatives, though chosen by us, can sometimes turn against us only, or they may not act in our interest. So in order to ensure that the citizens, no matter what, are in the right place, certain basic rights are given to them, and these rights are defined by the constitution only. At the same time, how the country should be, how it should be, leading to what is an ideal scenario in a country, that has to be there in terms of aspiration of the people, in terms of aspiration of an ideal government. All of these things in creating a good society is also being mentioned in the constitution. Okay, so guys, there's one more point that I want to quickly highlight. Okay, as I told you, it definitely constitution definitely defines what are certain laws, certain policies that a government needs to have, right, or how a government should run. But every country that has a constitution may not necessarily be democratic. So a country which is not democratic may also have constitution, because it is basically a book of rules, right? A book of policies, ideals, values of how a country should run. But necessarily that country may not be elected by, the government may not be elected by the citizens of the country. But if a country is democratic, it necessarily has to have a constitution. So understand it like this. Constitution does not ensure that the country is democratic, but democracy ensures that the country has to have a constitution. Now that is what constitution is and why is it required. Now how was it formed? I mean, like, the next question that comes to my mind is, how was it drafted? Who made it? Where did it come from that we all of a sudden started following? So let's understand that. So the process of making constitution was not at all easy, and it was not at all less like short also, like, okay, today we decided to make the constitution and in 2 days it was ready. No, it took 114 days. We will get into that, but let's first understand the circumstances, the situation, the scenario, the context in which the constitution was created. Now the process of making constitution, guys, was not very easy. It was very difficult because of the circumstances in which it was drafted. When the drafting of the constitution started, the country was still not really free. Although it was in the terms of, the conversations were going on about freedom, but we were still somewhere struggling for our independence. At the same time, India was fighting against the Britishers. They were fighting against the idea of falling apart in terms of partition. Partition was going to happen on the religions, on the basis of religion. A whole new Islamic state was going to be formed, and the others who wanted to stay back, or people who were not Islamic, were going to stay back, of different religions in India. And in this scenario, the constitution makers were going to draft a document, right? And Pakistan division was going to happen, as I told you, and Britishers were doing a lot of politics. They had granted the wish of Pakistan's, all of these people who were demanding for a complete new Islamic state. They granted that. They kept that condition that only on partition independence will be attained. Not just that, they even gave the call, they even gave the decision, they left the choice in the hands of the princely states, whether they wanted to join Pakistan, whether they wanted to stay back with India, or whether they just wanted to remain independent and not be a part of any country. Now amongst all of this, there was so much strain, stress and distress. And at the same time, it's not just that these political problems were going on, people were continuously losing their lives. When the partition happened, around 10 lakh of people were killed, guys. They lost their lives, and in all of these situations, the constitution had to be drafted. Now you might be thinking, ma'am, Why was it so difficult? I understand there was a political strain. I understand that people were losing life, but the people who were making constitution could have just worked on their, you just could have carried on with their responsibility. But what made it really difficult was that people were losing their life. Partition was happening. We were not sure the princely states were going to join us or not. We were not sure that after the partition of Pakistan and Bangladesh, which at that time was East Bengal, if other parts of the country may also rise up and ask for something else. This was making the condition of the country really, really unstable. And amongst all of this instability, the drafts were supposed to be put in place. The assembly, the makers of the constitution were supposed to put the constitution in place. Now see, if you're drafting rules for an organization, an institution, a country, whatever, if the conditions are stable, you can just think about it and put everything in place. But when everything is in a turmoil, when everything has been turned upside down, when there is no stability, when you have no idea what the future is going to look like, whether there is a future or not, you cannot draft something at that time because you're not sure will you be able to cater to everyone. Are you putting the right rules? Are you putting the right principles, policies, interests of everybody is being taken care of? We are not sure of all of these things. But despite all of these hurdles, the Constituent Assembly did a very good job, and they assured that their best was given. They assured that everybody's interest was being catered and everyone was being included. Nobody felt that they were left out, and it was something that was for everyone in the country despite of all the diversities and differences that were there in terms of anything. Okay, so that is what was the difficulty. Now let's understand the path of the constitution. How did they draw the path? What was the way that they took out to the formation of constitution? So but actually constitution drafting did not really start just before the talks of independence started happening. It started way back in 1928 with Motilal Nehru. Motilal Nehru along with 8 other people, they came together and drafted the first format of constitution. They drafted the very first constitution. Okay, it was not as detailed, it was not as descriptive, as well described as it is right now. Okay, but that is how it started from. But where did that inspiration come? Even in 1928 when Motilal Nehru and 8 other people started doing it, what were these certain things that inspired them? Where did it occur to them that where should they get and pick things from? So Bacha, it started right from our struggle towards independence. When we started struggling for independence, right at that time there were few things that started showing up. Okay, certain principles, certain values that people were showing up. Okay, and this struggle that we had against independence, for independence, against the Britishers, against exploitation, against colonization, that completely transformed the picture of the country, be it in social sense or political sense. The stands, the opinions, the aspirations, the social and political aspiration of the people were completely changed. It was completely transformed, and a whole reshaping took place. And that is what gave an idea to the people who were working on drafting the constitution as in how it should be. And that is what they took inspiration from, because the opinion, the interest, the desire of the people were changing, and now we were able to see different desires and opinions of the people, which was the calling, which was the demand, which was what was required in the moment. And that is where these people picked it from. Okay, and in 1928 that was the first draft, and after that in 1931 the resolution at Karachi session was taken, and it dwelt with how independent India. So before this, it was not in their minds that how independent India should look like. They were just thinking that how the Indian constitution should look like. But in 1931, when the Karachi session was happening, in that they finally had a discussion about how independent India's constitution should be and what independent Indians would want. Okay, now both these documents that was drafted in 1928 and 1931 were kind of put in together. few things which were common in both these things were taken together, and it was an inclusion of all these things. And there were certain points like universal adult franchise, right to freedom and equality, and to the protecting of rights of minorities is what was made sure that it should be there, and it was common in both these documents, right? Universal adult franchise, guys, it's not like people did not had any rights to vote till now, or they were not at all being participative in the elections. With the Government Act of India, it had started being there, right? But the thing is that it was not universal. Not all men, not all women were being a part of the elections. Yeah. So now what were other things that influenced the constitution? So we know that it started from the inspiration with our struggle, right? From that, there is the very first idea which came to the minds of the drafters of the constitution. But what were other things that they influenced? What were other things that they picked up from? So the people who drafted the constitution, they did a very, very intense research, guys. They dwelled into a lot of understanding. They did a lot of study, and they picked the best that they could from all the constitutions worldwide that were already in place. They read everything, the best constitutions of the world. They read all the constitutions and picked the best points that they could from around. Okay, so with all of these research, they came up with the policies which were picked, and it was redefined in the context of India. Okay, for the context, to suit the context of the people in our country. See, you cannot pick up something from US constitution and directly implement in India, because the people and the culture and the society over there in America and over here in India is way, way different. So all of these things though were picked from different countries, but it was redefined and reshaped in order to suit the Indian society, right? And then all of these sources and the struggle and the different things that came up during the struggle for independence is what shaped and acted as the source of the different articles present in the constitution. Now, what were few things that was going on inside India itself? So guys, if you remember, I told you universal adult franchise was not truly being practiced over here, but there were elections happening. People were being given the permission, you could say, to participate, to contest in the election. Now that happened by the Government Act of 1935. So that was one source of inspiration. After that, when elections were finally held in 1937 for the provincial legislatures, that was another source of inspiration. Then there were a lot of revolutions which were going on. There was the French Revolution. We are already reading about all of these things in history, right? French Revolution was going on. The social revolution in Russia, the Russian Revolution was going on. All these things came up with different ideologies. They surfaced a lot of different ideologies, which was again inspiring the people all around the world. In French Revolution, we have already seen, and even socialism when in Europe was happening, that how these things were influencing the people worldwide. So these ideals of these revolutions is also what highly inspired and acted as a source for the constitution's draft. Okay, at the same time, practice of parliament democracy, which was in Britain, and the Bill of Rights in US constitution, because these were the best attributes of these constitutions, were also picked up from there and put into and made a part of our constitution. Yeah, on that note, guys, do not forget, we have just gained so much of knowledge about constitution, about history, about political science. You are getting more and more smarter every day. So make sure you are participating into the week quiz that will give you an once in a lifetime opportunity, to sit across Amitabh Bachchan in that hot seat of KBC. Now, for the people who might be thinking, ma'am, how will that happen? If you do not know already, guys, Vedantu is the official learning partner of Kaun Banega Crorepati 2020, and with that there's going to be a student week, and you can be that student who can sit in that hot seat, and this is a wonderful opportunity which not everybody gets. What do you need to do? So there's something called week quiz happening twice in a day at 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. every day on the Vedantu app. You just have to go and play that quiz, okay? And you just have to collect a lots of points. Make sure that you are collecting a lot of points, and the person who does that the most gets a chance to meet Amitabh Bachchan and be on that hot seat. And if you're now wondering, ma'am, how do I do that? I'm not sure what the registration process is, what are the different steps. Bacha, just download the Vedantu app and you will find everything right over there. Make sure you're playing the quiz as many times as you can. There's no harm into it, right? Okay, now let's see who were these people who drafted the constitution. Who were these people who made this assembly, who came up with the final constitution that is right now ruling the country, that is right now our supreme law. So but before that, now as I was telling you that the inspiration was taken from a lot of places. So the inspiration was also not just taken from the different constitutions, from the struggle that we had for independence, but even from the Britishers who were here. See, when Britishers came, they did not just bring a lot of exploitation. They also did few goods for the society. I wouldn't just say few. They did help us in improving our social, condition a lot. Sati system, parda system, then child marriages, a lot of things which was happening. They have helped us to uplift ourselves from all of that, from all of those exploitations, from all of those evil practices of the society. So we have learned a lot from Britishers. We have learned a lot from the goods that they did for us. We have also learned a lot from the exploitation, from the bads that they did to us. From that we learned a lesson is what we are implementing. From the goods we just directly learned that, hey, this could also be done, and that is what we have adopted and adapted to. Right, now let's see who were these people who made sure that the creation of the constitution should be done absolutely seamlessly and that it helps everyone. So bacha, it's not like it was a random group of people who came in and who decided that, hey, today we are going to draft the constitution. No, because we were professing democracy, we were professing universal adult franchise. These people had to be elected representatives. But who were going to elect them? Because at this time, there was no universal adult franchise. There were no people, all the people of the India could have not voted and selected that these are the people who we want to select who should be drafting the constitution. So who were these people who were going to be the representatives of the entire country, and who elected them? So guys, as we know, as per the Government Act of India and as per the elections that were happening, that had happened in 1937 also, there were few people who were already in the provincial legislature. These were already the elected people who were in place, and these elections they were selected as representatives by the people of those regions only. But now universally it was difficult to do that. So these people further elected the assembly. Now because these people elected and they were from the different provinces, it kind of gave that coverage to all the geographical areas, and it was geographically representing almost the entire nation. Okay, and this election was actually done in July 1946. Okay, the constituent assembly, further though, I mean, like when it got constituted, when it was made, when it was formed, India was not parted away from Pakistan. So the assembly came in to draft the constitution for the entire country. However, after the partition, the assembly was also divided. One went for Constitution of India, one went for Constitution of Pakistan. These people also got divided. So they had their first meeting in December 1946, and after this whole partition, finally the number of people who worked on the drafting of Constitution of India were around 299. The constitution was finally adopted on 26 November 1949, and it came into effect from 26 January 1950. Guys, as you know, this day, January 26, is known as Republic Day. Now, my question to you is, which you're supposed to find out the answer to, is when we already had the constitution on 26 November 1949 ready, why did we wait for another 2 months to make it come into effect? Why did we have to wait for this to happen? Make sure that you are finding the answer to this and putting the answer in the comment section. Coming back to the point that why should these constituent assembly people who have drafted, people were accepting the draft, were accepting the rules or the policies that were being written by them. The reason behind this is, guys, that as I told you, that these people who were already in provincial legislatures had done the final election for the assembly, as a result of which people were coming from almost everywhere. Okay, they had come from almost everywhere. They were people from different language groups, from different castes, classes, religions, occupations, regions, and that made the Constituent Assembly also very diverse in nature, just as the population of our country. I mean, like, this question can naturally come into our head, that why should we accept the constitution which was made first 50 years ago and by made some random 299 people? Why should I listen to that? The reason behind that is, one, that they were almost representatives of each language, each caste, each religion, each region. So everyone in one way or the other was being represented, as a result of which the opinions, the interests and the aspirations of each and every sector and segment of the society was being represented by these people. So it was happening in a proper form of representation of people of India that was taking place in this, assembly. Also, if you see, guys, the number of amendments, the changes that have been done in the past 60 years, if we say, in the constitution is not really any major, is not really major in nature. The kind of changes, the kind of amendments, see, it's very natural for that to happen. But there has been no major changes or amendments which makes us, which gives us an understanding that the constitution that was drafted was a huge, huge success and hit, because they made sure that almost everyone was included and no major concerns have been raised by the people of India. It is still pretty much accepted by everyone, and that is what true constitution should be like. It should be accepted by everyone because it is giving a reflection of all, right? Because the Constituent Assembly in itself was so diverse and has such a broad consensus of its own time. At that time itself, it expresses a broad consensus of its time, right, of the people. And because of such broad views were shared by so many 299 people representing different sections, it made the policies almost cater to everyone. And also the kind of approach that they took, okay, the way in that they work was very systematic, open and very consensual in manner, which means whatever they were doing was open to everybody. Everyone could see what was being put in there and they could debate against it. They could express their support. They could express their opinion in terms of if they were not happy with it, if they were supporting it. So a lot of these approaches in a very systematic manner was taken. And the drafting committee was headed by B.R. Ambedkar, and the preparation of the constitution which was drafted initially just was open for debate and discussion to everyone. Okay, guys, B.R. Ambedkar in himself was very concerned about the lower castes. And why was that? Because he had realized what the history of the lower caste had been, how dominated they had been by the higher caste people. Why? Because he himself was a person coming from the lower caste and he had experienced the drawbacks of this oppression himself. And that is why he was very scared that these people will further not be protected. And that also was taken a good care of through this constitution. Now, whatever, similarly like him, a lot of other people had a lot of concerns. So all of these things that were happening were kept open for debate. Nobody would have to just put it there and abide by it like, okay, this has been put into the draft, now we have to follow it. No, everything was open to debate and discussion. And as a result of which, several rounds of thorough discussion on each and every article which has now been put there was done. And that is why it was well thought through. If you see, right from the first draft, around 2000 amendments were made by the final draft that they came in. And that is why it took around 114 days for the people of the assembly to finally come up with the draft which we had on 26th January 1949. Okay, guys, after that, all these debates, all these changes that have been made have been recorded for us. Okay, you can go and see that why this article is there. How did they finally come up to this article? What was the first draft? What were the certain changes made? And these are known as the Constituent Assembly debates, and it is actually available in 12 volumes. It is very detailed, it is very bulky, and it gives you an insight as to why this article is there and what is meant by it and how is it catering to everyone else. Okay, so all of these, every word spoken has been recorded and preserved, as I told you. And it gives us a proper logical reasoning as to why it was there, and it helps us interpret the meaning of the constitution. Now see, every document, okay, all these rules, as we know, are there, and it has to be there in order to assure that how governance or how ruling or how a running or operation of any institution should happen. But at the same time, we also need to have certain values that have to be included, right? So similarly, the Indian constitution also has certain philosophies. Now, how are these philosophies coming into place? So these are definitely the views of the leaders who were, drafting the constitution, the makers of the constitution. And also we have the preamble, which gives us this philosophy, which further professes these philosophies of the Indian constitution. Now we will discuss what were the different views of all these leaders. Number one being Mahatma Gandhi. Now, one question that might pop up into your head, guys, would be that, ma'am, was Mahatma Gandhi a part of the Constituent Assembly? No, guys, he was not a member of the Constituent Assembly, but he was such an influential figure that whatever he said, whatever his opinions were, always had a huge effect on everything major that was going on at that period, right? It had a huge influence, and he had himself a very important role to play in the whole process of independence and drafting of the Constitution. Right in 1931, in this paper, Young India, he had already spelled out what he really wanted the constitution to do. Okay, then was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Now see, his understanding was very different. As we know, he came from the lower castes and he knew what these struggles were. And he had himself faced the inequality, and he was really more concerned about how this should be removed and a balance should be brought in the society. He was very against of, not very against, but he bitterly criticized of the, of all the views and opinions that Mahatma Gandhi had. He was not really in favor or in, consensus with the views and vision of Mahatma Gandhi, and he just clearly, openly used to talk about it. In fact, in his concluding speech at, to the Constituent Assembly, he clearly stated that he was very anxious, he was very, confused and concerned about what is going to happen, what the future of the country is going to be looking like in terms of inequality especially. Then of course Jawaharlal Nehru, who also became the first Prime Minister of independent India. He gave his concluding speech to the Constituent Assembly at the stroke of midnight. Finally, when we got independence on August 15, 1947, the speech is known as Tryst with Destiny. Now the philosophy of constitution, guys, as I told you, every institution in order to run needs certain rules, but it cannot just be what's and how's, what needs to be done. Okay, this is what needs to be done and this is how it needs to be done. We also need to have some principles, have some values, and these are the values that guides us to be, a better nation, a better institution, a better ruled, operated government, and it also helps us to be better people. And where did we get these values and these guiding principles from? So as I told you guys, everything was an inspiration from different places. It was definitely an inspiration from the struggle of freedom. It was definitely an inspiration from all these revolutions that was going on, right? And that is what inspired the coming up constitution, and all these values came in from there. And it was very important for us to put down all of these value in one place for the people to be able to see it and to aspire. Because if it's just a vocal thing, if it's just an oral thing and just been vocally spelled out for people, it may not, people may not really follow it. So it was really important for us to put down everything in one place, and that is what the preamble is. It is the opening statement of the constitution, which gives us all the values and all the guiding principles of what the nation, what our nation should look like, and what we should aspire to be in an ideal case scenario, right? How to be a better place, to be better citizens, to be a better nation. Also, these values, these values which have been put in there is what has guided those all articles, 50 articles of the Indian Constitution as well. This is the preamble, guys. As you can see, the highlighted words: sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic, justice, liberty, equality, fraternity are the highlights of our constitution. I would urge you to understand these words in depth, because that is what defines India in true sense. Okay. Now let's talk about the basic design of our institution. If we talk about the institutional design, what it is and how it was. Okay. So as I told you, the preamble contains the philosophy on which the whole constitution constitution is built up. It is the main opening statement. It is basically an introduction. You can say it is the gist of the whole constitution, and it embodies the values out of which the constitution out of which the whole arrangement of this institution, of this government, has been made. We know that constitution is a very long detailed document, and that is why it has to be amended every now and then. We know that it was drafted 50-60 years back, and the times are changing, the society is changing, and we need to keep updating ourselves with the society. The technology keeps changing, your phone keeps updating, right, to make sure that the requirement of the people in today's date is being met. And that is what needs to be done with the constitution also. It clearly defines the process of how the person who is going to govern the country will be chosen. It clearly defines how much power this person has, what is the role of this person that has to be played, and also puts a proper limitation on the government, because we know people who we are choosing are humans at the end. We don't know how they will turn out to be, right? So because we have to make sure that they are doing right by the citizens, because that is the main essence of democracy, that is the main essence of constitution being there. We cannot let them violate any of these things, and that is why constitution is there. That is the main fundamental reason of it being in there. With that, we are done with the chapter, guys. We are super sorted. Let's quickly look at the homework question. Where was the 1931 session of Indian National Congress held? Ahmedabad, Calcutta, Karachi, or Nagpur? Guys, it gives me immense pride to announce that Vedantu has given the best result among all the classes in the IIT JEE Advanced. We have bagged one of the, most of the top ranks in top 10,000. We have around 253 students, which makes us super proud, and we are celebrating our super scores. We are celebrating the hard works of our dear Vedants. As you can see on the screen, these are the people who have worked really hard, and these are the people who the master teachers have worked really hard with. So if you know that this is what you want to do, you know you're on the right platform. 9th and 10th anyways is a very crucial time and forms the fundamentals for all that you're going to do ahead. And you know what helped these guys? What helped them was the Vedantu Pro subscription. So guys, make sure you are also subscribed to it, and you get a lot of bonuses along with it. Along with the factors that your doubts, notes are being solved, you're getting regular classes. All these classes are actually going to be unlimited and live. You get access to all the micro sessions. You get in-class live performance reports, which gives you a complete check. It helps you to keep a complete check on how you're progressing, where you are and when you are. And definitely the personalized attention, which gives you a one-on-one interaction opportunity with the master teacher and the class teacher, and your doubts get resolved then and there whenever the classes are going on. And how can you do that? All you need to do is just click on the link in the description box that is there, or just go ahead and click on the link that is pinned in the comment section. Choose your grade, your board, check out all the details that's over there. If the information is not enough for you, just click on the get subscription button, and then you get 3 options of 1, 3 and 6 months. Choose whichever plan is the most suitable for you. The best part is the bigger plan you select, the bigger discount you get, and it's going to be a jackpot if you go ahead with 6 months. And what do you need to do? But all you need to do is just click on the link in the description box, as I told you, or which is pinned in the comment section. Follow all these steps, and all you need to do is just use this coupon code AKEPRO. This is my coupon code. No matter which subscription you're picking up, make sure this code is being used. This gives you access to the discount, and you will get some amazing discounts. And I would love to see you guys in our live session on the platform. So we are done with the session over here, guys. If you're super excited, hit that like button right now. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel so that whenever the next video comes up, you get the notification immediately. Also, please make sure that you are putting your doubts in the comment section, guys, because that is where we pick up your questions and doubts from to address it in the mentee session. And I will see you guys very soon in the next session. Till then, stay home and take good care of yourself, guys. Bye bye. Have a great day ahead.